So the gospel today ends with the words, after he said this, he proceeded on his journey up to Jerusalem. So we are in a journey up to Jerusalem. But for today, I would like to focus on the first reading. This is the second book of Maccabees, chapter 7. It starts with verse 1, and then it jumps to verse 20 to 31. When I was praying with this reading, it gave me a sense, that I was allowed to enter into the heart of Mary when she was standing at the foot of the cross. Now, the first reading, this second book of Maccabees, chapter 7, is the narration of the 7 brothers, 7 children of the same mom who were sacrificed because they were forced to eat meat and then to eat pork, but they didn't want to do this because that would be breaking the law. And the story that happens, I feel, using the methodology of studying scripture with typology, looking at the Old Testament as prefigures of what then is fulfilled in the New Testament, I could see a prefigure of this mother and what she endured as seeing her 7 children being tortured and eventually killed, as something of looking inside the heart of Mary when she was at the foot of the cross and seeing her son die. So I'm just going to give you some bits and pieces, hopefully to create an appetite for you to go later on and to read that scripture verse, thinking of this is giving you an insight into the heart of Mary at the foot of the cross. So first it says, most admirable and worthy of everlasting remembrance was the mother. Everlasting remembrance, admirable and worthy of remembering was the mother. The mother who saw her 7 sons perish in a single day. Imagine if you were a mother who just lost 7 children the same day. And I think that's part of the sorrow of our Blessed Mother. 7 being a number of perfection, a great number. Mary suffered greatly, perfectly, 7 times as she saw her son suffer and die. And then it gives us like the thesis statement. What would be most characteristic? What would be the main thing? How can you best describe how was Mary at the foot of the cross based on Maccabees? It says, yet bore it courageously because of her hope in the Lord. A mother who bears the sorrow, the anguish of seeing 7 children or her child be tortured and killed, she bore it courageously. And what strengthened her courage? What gave her that courage? Her hope. Her hope in the Lord. So we often see depicted, which I think is a mistake, Mary at the foot of the cross, just like a novela, all fainted and oh. That's not how Mary was at the foot of the cross. The actual Greek word referring to Mary standing at the foot of the cross, histomai, implies a taking a stand, implies a courageous stand. It implies being firm in a conviction that she stands by the cross. Histomai. There's other Greek words that could have been used, but that means that she stood firm. And as I continue to deepen in the second book of Maccabees, chapter 7, Mary who courageously stood, histomai, courage that is driven from hope. Hope of what? Well, we know that Jesus Christ, through his journey, taught of the resurrection. He believed in the resurrection. We Christians believe in the resurrection. Keep in mind that within the Jewish tradition, there's some who believe in the resurrection, some who didn't, but Jesus ascribed and professed, and we Christians believe in the resurrection of the dead. Where do you think he learned that from? Joseph and Mary, teaching him the Jewish faith, the Jewish religion, the Jewish culture. So you could almost sense that Mary is courageously standing in the hope of knowing that there is life after death, and the firm conviction of the resurrection. So Mary is able to stand, histomai, courageously, strong, firm, taking a stand in her faith, in her hope that there will be life after death. So she is dealing with her sorrow and pain, but yet receiving the spirit of courage in her hope, knowing that this will not be the end. And to some of this, we see beautiful, I am going to skip, I could do a whole retreat, and how beautifully inspired I was by making the parallels and piercing into the heart of Mary. But here are the last words that the woman of the second book of Maccabees, chapter 7, says to her last child who's about to be killed. She says to him, "Son, have pity on me." Now, think of this as Mary in her heart saying to Jesus Christ as he hung on the cross, "Son, have pity on me. I who carried you in my womb for 9 months, who nursed you for 3 years, brought you up, educated you, and supporting you to your present age. Right here, I'm standing at the foot of the cross. I'm still supporting you. I beg you, my child, to look at the heavens and look at the earth. Look beyond the pain. Look beyond the torture. Look beyond the suffering. Look beyond all. Look into the heavens. Look at the earth. Look at the human race." It's almost like an invitation of our Blessed Mother to his Son. Renew yourself in why the Father has sent you here for. Look at the people of God, those crucifying you who are in need of your saving power. Look up, look beyond. And it says, do not be afraid of these executioners. Do not be afraid of death. Do not be afraid of suffering. Think this Mary saying to her son, a mother whose instinct is to save a child's life. She is going beyond it and saying, son, look beyond this. Look to the bigger picture. Do not be afraid of these executioners. And then she says, but be worthy of your brothers and accept death. You could almost hear Mary saying to Jesus, do not be afraid of dying. This is what we're here for. Accept death and accept it as an act of reconciliation for the entire human race, for your brothers and sisters and me. So that in the time of mercy, I may receive you again with them. Here is the hope of the resurrection. Taking a courageous stand in the hope that knowing that death, suffering does not have the last word, but everlasting life. Of regaining the Son she's offering in a whole different way, gaining him again in glory. So how did the Son respond after being encouraged by his own mom who's saying, do this, my son. I know you can. We believe in the resurrection. I taught you so. I know you believe in the resurrection. Do it. Give your life. Let it be a ransom for the many, and we will see each other again. Because I believe in the resurrection. I believe in you who are the truth, the way, the life. What did the son say after that? She had scarcely finished speaking when the youth said, "What are you waiting for? I will not obey the kings of this world and their commands. I obey the command of the law, and what greater law than the law of love? And what greater love than to lay down your life for others?" I invite you, perhaps, take this scripture verse, second book of Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 20 and 31st, and pray with it, and allow the heart of Mary, her purest heart, to reveal, to unfold before you, that you too may be encouraged by the hope of our Blessed Mother. May this be so.